Guys, welcome to our live stream event. We're watching this UAW negotiations as we're streaming this live. We're kind of all hoping that there is no strike and how it's going to impact not only the Camaro community but just about everything in the auto industry, and from replacement parts to new cars to replacement parts that you would buy for potentially that you would buy for your used car. It's going to have dramatic effects on the economy and whatnot. And so let's get just dive into what we know so far. This won't be a live long stream. It's been a very long day for me, and I got to work in the morning. So it's not going to be by 12:30 at the very latest we'll be done. So here's what we know so far. This was announced at 10 o'clock, and that is that if there's no contract by midnight, there will be action. All three of the automakers in different states. So just going over here. So the factories affected, and so this won't be a total stand-up strike. This will be kind of a moving target, and their first three targets are slated for the General Motors plant in Missouri, the Ford plant in Michigan, and the Stellantis Jeep plant in Ohio. And it goes down here. I'm just reading the article, and it says what the three plants do. So the Ford plant produces Bronco SUVs and their midsize Ranger. The Jeep plant in Toledo has about 4,200 workers, and they manufacture the Jeep Wrangler and the Gladiator pickup. And the GM plant employs 4,100 workers, and in that Winsfield plant, they produce the Cannon, the Colorado midsize pickups, and of course, the already hard to get Savannah and Express vans, the full size vans, right? I mean, everybody's known for the last 2 years. Certainly, we've seen it up here, and that is that you cannot get a full size van. I mean, they are asking astronomical amounts of money just for a used full size van because they just they can't seem to build them fast enough, and the supply has been really low on them. So that's what we know. As for the economic effect on the economy, just reading an article here. They were saying that a 2-week strike, a 10-day strike, would result in about economic losses of about $5.5 billion. $3.5 billion of that would be from lost wages and production, with the remaining $2.1 billion by consumers who would not be able to get necessary repairs and replacement parts, and by dealers and their employees. So that's on a 10-day cycle. So it's going to have drastic effects to the economy on an already fragile economy, as we all know, right? So I got the CNN going on the TV. I'm checking my phone here, and we're keeping an eye on the UAW Facebook page because that's where all the updates seem to come from. All of a sudden, they're the most updated, so we're keeping an eye on that. The last update was 40 minutes ago, and I'm not going to pick a side either way. I tend to lean more to the worker side because certainly I know a lot of people who work in some of these plants, and they deserve every penny they get. And again, like I said in my other video, if you work hard, you deserve a decent pay, and you deserve to be paid well. Some would say they're already paid well and that the plants don't need unions, and it's very subjective, and I get it. So we're not trying to pick sides here, but I guess we are kind of on the worker side because we think they deserve to be paid well, right? So they've gone through a lot, certainly the last couple of years, and it's time that these three automakers start to look after the people that keep them going. That's for sure. So, just checking here for updates. And again, so the last number that I heard at the 10 o'clock update was that they've lowered their number. I've seen, some websites report 46% is what the union wanted. Some said 40%. Now they've kind of dialed it back a little bit and said that, they want 36%. I'm kind of thinking my number in my original video was kind of, was maybe a little low. I expect that the union will likely accept high 20s, 22. I forecasted 22, and that might have been a little low. I think the union will likely accept a number of about 28%, but we want to get your feedback, and if you want to throw them in the comments, let's have your say as to what you think, sort of what the union might accept and what your number what they might be. I'm still in the, below 30. I've never seen a number above 20 yet. 20 seems to be the big number, certainly from Ford and GM, with Stellantis coming in with the lowest number, and I think it was 18%. But there's so many facets to, what they want, right? Just trying to pull up this article here from the UAW site. That first part of the wage was just one part. There's so many other parts to it. The tiers and the retirement benefits are the big things for them, right? So I don't see it getting all done tonight. We got about 14 minutes, 16 minutes to go, and I haven't seen any update on the page. So I appreciate it, everybody coming in and tuning in. I didn't expect a big audience tonight, but certainly wanted to be here for you guys and providing an update as to, something that was not kind of, was more genuine and not kind of polished. And we'll leave the media do that on their own, right? So, no update here yet. Just doing a refresh. No, there's no update yet. 44 minutes. I'm trying to find this article here that explains what they want. I think most of you guys already know what their demands are. I think, the big three automakers have said kind of like, this is where we're at, 20%, anything above that is kind of bankrupt us, which I don't know that I completely buy, right? There's a lot of money out there for these guys to get. And I think that the UAW is, doing what they believe is best for their members. And I think a majority of the members are on board with it. So I'd be interested to hear from somebody at the UAW who's a member and do they oppose it or do they support it? So anyways, so this is where we're at. There's no update on the UAW site yet. Again, if you're just tuning in, 20% was the last update. The three plants that they're going to strike at midnight, it's not going to be a full rollout standing strike. They got 3 targets that they're going to start with. The rest of them are going to work without a contract for the time being. So 3 plants. One is in Michigan. It's the Ford plant, 4,600 workers. They produce the Broncos and the Ranger midsize pickups. The Stellantis plant in Toledo, employs 4,200 workers and manufactures the Wrangler and the Gladiator pickup. And then GM's Missouri plant employs 4,100 people, and they make the Canyon and the Colorado midsize pickups, as well as the GMC Savannah and the Express vans, which, as I mentioned earlier, are already tough to get. Now you're going to add all this into it, right? Again, just reading through this article, the UAW started out demanding 40% raise increases, which I guess where I got the 46 number was when you compound it annually, it works out to 46%. So they want restoration of cost of living wages. I think the big thing that's kind of sticking with everybody is that the union wants 32-hour work week with 40 hours of pay, and I don't think the UAW's got a lot of support from the public on that, because I read a lot of comments where people have said, that part is ludicrous. Like, good luck with that one, right? So the initial wage offers from Ford and GM were 20%. GM was originally 10, and they've come up, and then Stellantis' last known offer was 17.5% wage increase. So it looks like Ford and GM are trying to, or at least putting out to the media that they're doing their best to try and make this work. Again, I had said 22% in my video. I think it's probably going to be, it's going to have to be higher than that for the UAW to sink their teeth in and send it to their members. It's likely going to see, I think if the majority of the big three come to them and said, okay, we'll give you 28%, what I don't know is if they go 28%, but they say the cost of living allowance, otherwise known as the COLA, is not accepted, and the retirement benefits, how does this whole ratification thing work, which is what I don't know, and we're kind of falling out on that. We got 11 minutes to go, and I'm just checking an update here from Facebook on the UAW page, and yeah, UAW members. So here, we'll put this up here. Share screen. So I just got here, the UAW supporters are rallying outside the Ford, Michigan assembly plant, ready to walk the picket line with workers as we approach the final minutes before the contracts. That was literally just now put up on Facebook. And the update before that was 49 minutes ago. So it doesn't look like anything is going to get done, and a lot of people had forecasted and said, what, this strike's going to happen. So again, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate on a, on an already low production, certainly for the Camaro front, right? Low production year. Everybody's asking, will they extend the production? I think that's I'm kind of hoping that's what they do, and I think that's what they're going to do, but I don't have any insight on that. As I mentioned earlier, the effect on the economy, if the strike does happen in about 10 minutes, is that if it lasts 10 days, it's I think the New York Times has estimated that it could cost the economy somewhere around $5.5 billion. And portions of that is lost wages. That's the big part of it. About $3 billion of that is lost wages, and then the other part is not being able to get parts and loss from the dealers and whatnot, right? So $3.5 billion would result from lost wage production, with the remaining $2.1 billion by consumers who wouldn't be able to get necessary repairs and replacement parts, and by dealers and their employees. So I think, the next big thing you will see, and I read some articles there about some of the transportation companies. Most of the transportation companies, or a lot of them, are Teamster Union, and Teamsters has kind of put it out there that they won't cross the picket lines at these plants where they're on strike. So, I mean, we all sort of knew this was coming, right? So it's probably not going to end well. I got about 8 minutes to go here. Just checking an update here. And I don't even think that even if they get a deal tonight, will it? They still have to send it to their member leads to have them approve it. But with so many things, the retirement package benefits, the wage increases, the cost allowance, cost of living allowance. There's so many moving parts to this that I almost think that wasn't intentionally set up to be this complicated. So, they could potentially use the strike to get what they want. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of the impression that I kind of get, but I would agree that these workers, these companies have made, many of you have said it in the videos, right? Like, the it started with the dealers and the markups, and I think, my opinion is, I think the dealers or the automakers just said, you know what, hey, the dealers are getting away with it, why can't we? And that's why you're seeing the big increases. Have things gone up? Yeah, things have costed more, but I think 3 years after the pandemic has started and kind of come back to some normalcy, I know in the business that I'm at, we've seen a lot of price decreases in the last 6 months, but yet these automakers keep jamming their prices up. And finally, at some of the dealerships, you're seeing, some deals to be had, but it's not good. Many of you have been frustrated by what these automakers do, and I personally don't blame these plant workers for wanting their fair share of all the profits that these three have made. So I'm trying to be kind of neutral, but at the same time, I guess I am for the workers, because many could say that they they make a lot of money, but they've all and I know some of them, they've also given up a lot, especially in that recession in 09. A lot of those people help these companies where they are today. So I think it's in the manufacturer's best interest to kind of make it work for these guys and come to some agreement that is acceptable to both them and the workers. So yeah, so I don't think we'll see another update yet. We got about 5 minutes to go, and we'll just put this up here. So these are kind of this is in the Michigan plant, the Ford plant, that they're and some of these UEW members are on strike from the whole Blue Cross thing, in case you missed that as well. And I wasn't really following it, but a lot of those members who were on strike from the Blue Cross are gone over to the plants to help their fellow members in support. So should be interesting. I don't know. I don't see this being corrected anytime soon. That's the sad part, right? It's going to have a major effect on everything. And you think about it, right down from, the part plants and all the secondary companies that build parts for those part plants. You know, it goes down to going to Napa or whoever and getting a part for your car or your truck. You know, that will be affected as well. So, in one way or another, it's going to get ugly, and it's going to get ugly fast. So, we're just waiting on 3 minutes for the actual deadline, and I don't see us. I don't see this coming together in the next couple minutes. And again, this won't be a long. Um, this won't be a long live stream. I just wanted to put something together for you guys, and so you knew what was going on and didn't have to visit 50 websites. So, if you know, I'd love to hear what some of you guys have to say and what you think. Are you for it? Are you not for it? I know a lot of you are for, you know, having the UAW or having the UAW support, in the sense that, you know, some of this has got to be, you know, some of this has got to be taken care of, because, you know, these companies keep driving the price up on cars and trucks, and whether they take a pay cut or not, they will keep increasing the price of these vehicles, and I totally agree with that. So why shouldn't they get their fair share? Um, it's not been good last couple of years. Certainly, like I said previously, in my business, I've seen, you know, we see price decreases coming down, but yet, you know, vehicles have gone up, I think, on average, in the last 3 or 4 years, like 30%. It is absolutely crazy. Was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago about what a new truck would be versus what mine was new, and it's like $22,000, and mine's not that old. It's 2015, but there's a $22,000 difference in 8 years. So that's crazy money when you think about it, right? So the equivalent truck today would be, I think mine was 63. See the equivalent, and that's of course in Canadian, but the equivalent truck today would be 88, 85, somewhere in that ballpark. So just crazy money. So 11:59, we should see some updates any minute now, and you know, maybe we can call this early and just kind of fill everybody in on what's going on. And again, if you're just tuning in, so the 3 plants the UAW have targeted, it's a kind of a rolling target stand-up strike, they're calling it. So the first 3 plants that they have chose, the General Motors assembly plant in Wentzville, Missouri, the Ford factory in Wayne, Michigan, near Detroit, and the Stellantis plant in Toledo, Ohio. The Stellantis plant builds the Jeep Wranglers and the Gladiators, and the the Ford plant builds the Rangers and the Broncos, and the GM plant builds the Canyons and Colorados, as well as the full-size Savannah vans and whatnot. So, you know, and if you're not following the full-size vans, that's been a mess for 2 years now. It's probably been way worse than, you know, the Camaro or anything else. You cannot get a full-size van. I know any full-size van that's used on the market today is way overpriced, because the shortage on those full-size vans have been so drastic that you just can't get them. They can't build them fast enough, and there's already been a huge delay on that. So, you know, that is not going to help things as well, right? So, so we're at 12:01. I'm gonna update this Facebook page for the UAW, and I think I already know what's going to tell me, right? So on strike at the big 3. So they're on strike. So there's no agreement. We'll just stick this up there. So this is so yeah, they've gone on strike. They've updated their Facebook website saying that they're on strike. The 3 plants will have people walking off the line any minute now, and so yeah, it's going to get interesting fast. Not a lot of comments on this. I'm just going to turn up the CNN here for a second. So yeah, so they're on strike. Where there's no update. We expect SHawn Fain to make some announcement shortly, but we already know what it's going to be, right? According to CNN, they're still saying that there is no real update. There's still a big gap between what the UAW wants and what the big three are offering. So we're going to stay on top of that, and we're going to post up some updates. So I think we're going to just cut her short, and we'll post up in the community page any updates we got. So appreciate you guys checking in and sticking with me for the last 25-30 minutes, and appreciate you being here, and we'll talk to you soon. We'll send some invites. Thanks guys, take care. Bye.